Hi.
No. We're live. 7 days earlier than what I programmed it.
Sorry, I'm just trying to.
Few people turn up.
Just joined us.
Kaz. We just realised I actually programmed it for next Sunday, and then I've just adjusted it this morning. So we're just going to wait a few minutes and see if a few other people turn up. Yep.
Paula. Sorry, I'm trying to do this left-handed.
And why is Julianne doing it left-handed? Getting there though.
I think I do all right left-handed.
Thanks, Rebel. Yeah, I mucked up. I programmed it in for next Sunday and just did a quick adjustment.
You know, I was just said to Stephen, I was sitting there wondering, Stephen screwed up a lot of our lives. I wonder if he screwed up this one. And thought, no, he wouldn't do that. And then I've come out and he goes, I put the wrong date on. And I'm like, you idiot. Camp Creek Hill. Glorious Gippsland. Yeah, yep, it is glorious down there. Love it. So
many good volleyball tournaments down in Gippsland. Travelled down that road a lot of times.
The budget preppers. Stephen, we talked a bit the other day when you were in a live with someone.
Yeah, I jumped into one the other morning and had a bit of a chin wag.
Chin wag. Jesus. I don't know if anyone understands you.
No. Jonesy was just talking about different ways Australians say about talking. So yeah, chin wag, rabbiting on.
That's about all I know.
Yep. Oh, that's right. Yes, it was. I had the camera out the back with all the honey and Julian's preserves and that. So yeah.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a minute too.
Yeah. We're expecting a freeze. A freeze. Aren't you supposed to be in like spring there, Paula? Well, as you can see from the sunlight in these windows, like that kitchen window and that window there, it's beautiful autumn day here. So I'm not sure what the temperature is.
Oh, that's right. We had the Marmite Vegemite conversation. That's
right. Marmite. No.
Her husband's from England or from the EU.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So what's the temperature right now? It is 16.5 degrees Celsius, people. Celsius. So let's just see. A bit slow on this. Celsius to Fahrenheit. 62 degrees.
Thanks everyone for being here. There's a few people in the chat already, which is great, considering everyone was expecting to come next week.
Idiot.
Yeah, I've got a lovely autumn day out there at the moment. Sun shining, blue sky. We're going to a barbecue this afternoon for a gardening group, which will be really nice.
You're sitting out there talking about plants and everything like that. So, and Stephen might even have a bevy. Beverage.
Knock one back.
So mad about leaving the starts out the greenhouse. Yeah, I've been trying to harden off some seedlings too, and I got up at about I think it was about 6 o'clock this morning and noticed we had a massive fog, and I thought, so hopefully they don't get killed off. So
we haven't done your fig.
No, but I've actually. Can you go back to on the. That one there. I actually had too many figs, so I preserved a lot of them in the jars. These are a Fowlers jar, so this is a method of well, I suppose a lot of people call it water bathing. in America, but this is a slightly different method. Actually, we're going to talk about preserves, but I'm going to talk about this now. This is a really, really good method of preserving. It's similar to water bathing, but it doesn't boil everything in your jars. So it's a very, very gentle way of preserving. And these figs will last a couple of years in this. But when I actually preserve these ones, I'll do the fig one. So yeah,
set up on the shelf there. Julianne's done peaches and apricots, and you can do a lot in the Fowlers.
Yeah.
There's some stuff.
Yeah. It's just the same as, you know, the water bathing, high acid foods, not, you know, not your vegetables.
Yeah.
Unless they're pickled and everything like that. So
that the Fowlers method's been around for a long, long time in Australia. My grandmother had a whole set of Fowlers jars and used to do that all the time. It was how the old folks on the farms, you know, had to preserve their things because they grew everything and it was all seasonal.
Yeah. So just in that jar there, that was just figs in water. I didn't do anything else because I haven't decided what to do with those ones yet, but I'll probably make some jam out of those ones. So yeah, Paul, I didn't do as many for obvious reasons. So because I can't plant them, but yeah. Fowlers, Fowlers. Rebel counters. It's a great method. It's a really low, slow way of doing it. So the contents go into the jars at room temperature. The jars go into the water bath at room temperature, and you bring the temperature up slowly to 92 degrees Celsius. I think it's 190, I don't know what it is, for about an hour, depending on your jar size. So it makes sure that what is inside the jars isn't cooked again. So, yeah, and then it's preserved for a while. And you can actually do cakes as well and puddings. So if anyone's interested, I can show that as well. So I think, hang on. This is all full of preserves here, this one here. So so I did Christmas puddings in the jars as well. So it's really good. But yeah, I don't know why we're talking about that. But if you want to see a video on how that's done as well, you can do it on a stovetop. I've actually got a little electric unit that I can do it in. You can do it in your pressure canner as well if you've got one of those. So love the shirt, Steve.
Love the shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's some, I don't know what I'm doing, two fruits, so just some peaches and pears. And that's not the best jar to show, so that's one that I didn't fill up enough. So some apricots, and I'll just make maybe some jam out of that. And here's one that might interest you, some coleslaw in a jar. So that's really, really good. We just tip that out, take out all the liquid. If you want to put some mayonnaise on it, you can. Otherwise, it's beautiful just out of the jar. So
and that keeps for a long time. And then yeah, beautiful peach pieces. But yeah, we've done apricots and everything as well. It's a really handy method as well with things like when I make relish and there's a good Christmas pudding with the Fowlers lid. So Christmas pudding is like a hot fruit cake that we have at Christmas time.
yeah,
Plum pudding. Yeah,
whatever.
I don't like fruit cake, but I love Christmas pudding. So work that out.
Because I've shown off all my stuff, Stephen has to show off his.
Yes. Video coming out soon. We managed to do we've done 2 honey extractions out of our hives. I wasn't hopeful of actually getting anything this season, but we ended up having to put the hives out on another property, and we just fluked it to get it into a really good spot where the nectar flow was going bananas, and we've ended up with 64 kilos of honey so far.
Yeah.
Mm.
And that's only like you got 12 frames and
So
that was about
31 frames we've extracted so far.
yeah, so about 2 kilograms each.
Which
Like,
has been,
running them like I love plum pudding. Yeah.
So finally got to christen my honey spinner, and Merv showed us how to decap the frames and put them in and spin them out. And,
yeah.
So
that video is going up soon. I just haven't finished editing, so I'm a bit slow.
Yeah, you actually don't need much room to have bees. I know people that have actually got quite small backyards and have a bee hive down in the back corner.
Okay.
I'll just have to check the customs and because it's a food substance.
Also because of varroa mite and everything like that.
I think I should be right to send it out. We just have a lot of restrictions coming in.
Yeah.
We have an outbreak of varroa mite around Sydney at the moment that they're trying to contain and eliminate.
Water budget preppers would be
because the bees will travel 2-3 miles in their foraging, so they'll find things that are around. So
yeah, so that's what we've been doing. Obviously haven't been doing a bit. My mum actually came around yesterday and gave me a hand literally to cut up some quince. Now I don't think a lot of people from America use quince, so so cut up some quince to make some more preserves. But I'm going to get Steve to finish those off today. So speaking of finishing things off, just a bit of an update on my arm. For those that don't know, what's that? A quince. See? Yeah. It's a round fruit. It kind of looks like a cross between a pear and an apple, and you cannot eat them off the tree. So they have to be cooked.
I believe they originated in Asia, like around the region of China, and then with the British Empire, when they were trading with China, a lot of plants came back and it became a really old world fruit in England. And then, of course, when Australia was colonised, then a lot of those old trees came here as well. So they're an amazing fruit. They're
not off a tree, and they're yellow and they have fuzz all over them. So you basically take the fuzz, like wipe the fuzz off. You cut them up and you stew them down. And the best thing about these things is the colour that they turn. They're yellow with white flesh.
They start green on the tree, then they ripen to yellow. And
then when you cook them, they go this really deep rose color, rose red. So so it makes a jelly out of them and a paste, which is really, really great on a charcuterie. Jeez, I nearly didn't say that. So going on with the arm. So if you're not aware, I had surgery just over a week ago. What, 10 days, 8 days, 9 days, whatever it is. Put it up, Paul. Yeah, sure. So I had surgery on my arm. I had carpal tunnel surgery and also surgery on my upper arm. And I've been told I'm not allowed to do much for a fair bit. I can show you a little bit. I don't know if I can where I'm sitting because I'm kind of geez. So I'll just show you a little bit. The cut started from here and all the way up there, and then through to the hand there. And I'm not sure if you can see that. So tell me if you can or can't. So there's the other mark there. So, and my arm's a bit yellow at the moment because it's bruising and everything. Yeah. So that's going really, really well. There's been a few days where I've had a lot of pain, so I've been taking medication when I needed to. So the things that I've been doing at the moment is I have to retrain 5 acre farm. Hi.
Hello, Victorians.
Yeah, so at the moment, I'm having to retrain my brain to feel things in my right hand the same as I feel in my left hand. So I have to get things with the same, with a texture, and I have to rub my fingers at the same time. So the brain registers that what the left hand is feeling, the right hand should feel. So it will actually retrain my hand to feel what it should be feeling, because at the moment it's not. It's feeling all different things. So the textures and everything. And I'm just doing some exercises where you do your finger things and everything like that. So that's going really, really well. So yeah, Paula, that's the problem. That the nerve damage was the problem. So yeah, my brain's just got to relearn to do certain things with my right hand, and you use your left hand to actually to do that. So yeah, so you get all different textures and just retrain your brain. So yeah, I'm hoping Kyle's doing okay too. So yeah. So yeah, that's what's happening there. It's frustrating. I hate doing nothing. It's probably one of the things I don't do well.
Yeah.
I try to do everything well, and doing nothing is not one thing I do well. So yeah.
Yeah, Paul, the issue is the medial nerve runs down there and then through the what's called the carpal tunnel, and then the ligaments there compress that tunnel, and then that's what most people get. And then your arm specialist started poking around up here, and he said, "Oh, don't see that very often." And there's another major ligament that runs across called the pronata, and that puts pressure on the nerve, and it's that compression of the nerve that's caused the problem. So that's why it had to be same as a carpal tunnel. It has to be opened up, create space, and then heal, and it has to do the same thing up here. So yeah, but the good news is the nerve has been compressed for quite a while, but it will recover, and yeah, just takes time.
And the good thing about the pain is that it's nerve pain, so which is good, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because it means that things are starting to come back. So
and look, I mean, I had carpal tunnel in both hands, and once I had that operation done and healed up, was the best thing I ever did. So
budget preppers, well, sorry to hear that. And yeah, constantly overdoing it. And that's how I got myself into this mess in the first place, constantly overdoing stuff. So all repetition.
You used to work you were basically an apprentice mechanic with your dad when you were younger. You did rowing, you did cake decorating, house renovating.
Well, it was pretty severe. Like Stephen had carpal tunnel, and he got both of his done and everything. Hey, Foxit.
Hey, Cliff. How's it going, mate?
It was 7 years. Like 7 years ago, I got diagnosed, and then Stephen actually got diagnosed after me, and he had his surgery pretty much straight away. But because of what I was doing for my profession, I couldn't take the time out, and then it just got to the point where I completely forgot it was happening, because the nerves were so damaged that I lost that tingling feeling in my fingers, and it just went to numb. So
So if you have any problems with those two fingers in your thumbs, tingling, or if you're doing things and they start to go to sleep and you're having to shake them, carpal tunnel.
Budget preppers. We'll see. That's.
I'm due for a new hip. I've got to get myself organised and get it done.
Yeah, Stephen's hips are pretty bad at the moment. So, but so that's an update, because we're not going to spend too much of your precious time, everyone. So that's the update on my surgery. It's going well. It's frustratingly painful at times, and it's frustrating that I can't do anything at the moment. So that's really annoying. So the house build, So we had a really, really quick video. You can't see it, but it's out. Am I pointing the right direction? Out at this direction here is where we're actually going to be doing the extension to our house. When we built our house, it was during COVID. We only got half the house finished. And as I said in the last videos, Harrison is sleeping in a lounge room. Now, when I say lounge room, I just want to clarify. it's just like a family room. Like what would people, a great room. It's a huge room. It's really, really big. And we separated it into two temporarily. And he's got half of it as his bedroom, half of it as his gaming room. So he's got a big bedroom, but it was only temporary. So, there it is. There's the child. We do have one. We do talk about him. He's on school holidays at the moment, so he's slept in.
He's not allowed to stand next to you now, is he?
No, he's not allowed to stand next to me. My 13-year-old is quite substantially taller than me now. So, yeah, he's not allowed to stand there. So, yeah, so that building is there. And as I mentioned, we actually waited 6 months for our permit, was it?
Mm.
And it just seemed to take forever. But that came through, and the child's walking through. He's going to wave in the background. And no, he didn't. So we waited 6 months for that permit to come through. And the day that we actually got the permit, the day after, was when we found out about the surgery. And it was just the worst timing ever. Normally it doesn't take that long, but we're owner building, so we're doing self-build. What am I ignoring? She's so ignoring. What am I? Yes, Harrison's height. Yeah. No, it's not happening. So that started. We had the earthworks all done, and unfortunately they have to come back and fix a little bit because it's not deep enough at the moment. So that's happening. They're pouring some concrete and everything next week as well. So that's happening. But yeah, we're self-building, which means that we're doing all the work ourselves that we're legally allowed to do, because as I said, in Australia, you can't do your own electrical and you can't do your own plumbing legally. You can't do that.
No.
So everything else you can actually do yourself. So yeah. Richard Silver, 6 months is pretty good. Oh, really? It just seemed to just take forever. There was 6 months from when we actually got it done. It was like 18 months project. We started 18 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I suppose that's why it seems it's taken so long. So
it is a bit way of the world at the moment. So everything seems to take so long now. I've got, in my job, I've got new cars for our fleet ordered. We're looking at 2 years before we get hold of new cars. I tried to organise a tree locker the other day. It's a month and a half before they can even quote, 6 months before they can get here. It's just pretty amazing. Cliff, how's the orchard coming along? Well, we had some bad news in the orchard. We lost 5 or 6 trees. 10. We lost 10 trees in the flooding. All our cherry trees.
Sorry for it. We lost all our cherry trees, all of our nectarines, and most of our peaches. So they were 4-year-old trees. So
very frustrating, but anyway.
Yeah, we have to start from scratch with that.
But we've come up with a plan to do a little bit better. We're going to do some long raised beds and get them off the ground a little bit. And
like some swales. We'll put in some swales and actually put them in the swales and try and stop the flow of water sitting at the bases. And that's what happened. Our neighbour, as you know, won't go into that, but their dam leaked for 2.5 months after the flooding. So we still had our house sandbagged for 2.5 months after that as well, because they were afraid it would totally give way. 2.5 months our orchard sat in water.
They just drowned.
Yeah, so there's only some of them survived, and that was because they weren't in, there was, you can see clearly a path where the dam was leaking through our orchard. So we've got to replace all those trees, which is really annoying because it actually sets us back. It doesn't set us back 1 year. It actually sets us back 4 years because those trees were 4 years old. So, because we usually strip our trees of all their flowers and everything and fruit in the first couple of years, just so they can establish some really good roots. So and we've been trying to find mature trees to replace them, but as you said, Foxit, it's expensive. So
going forward, we've got a new structure going up between the orchard and that dam, and we'll put some drainage on the other side of it. So going forward, anything that does leak out of his poorly constructed dam that he doesn't want to do anything about will be picked up and taken away from the orchard. So it won't, in a while, it won't be an issue and it won't happen again. But yeah, we weren't overly happy.
Yeah, so the orchard is not going so well. Speaking of structures, so that we can lead into that structure that is actually going up there. We're building, well, we call it a shed here in Australia. A shed. What barn?
Yeah, it's not really a barn. It's a yeah, I don't know. I suppose I call it a barn.
Yeah. So, I don't know. What would you guys, call the outbuilding where you store all your tools and equipment and everything? We call it a shed. So, are they going to pay for your trees?
No. You'd have to care to do that.
Yeah. So we're putting a shed up there. We don't have one at the moment. All of our tools and everything.
A shed.
Thank you.
Yep.
All of our tools and everything are in our garage, and it's getting very, very hard to move in there because we've got a lot. We've also got 2 40-foot shipping containers that has a lot of our stuff in it as well. So we're putting up a structure, and I'm just converting this to feet. So it is 9 meters, which is 30 foot wide, and it is 28 meters long, which is 92 foot long.
Yeah.
And it's got 2 really big doors, roller doors. And it is about, let's just say, 16.5 feet tall, which is 5 meters tall. So it's really tall. And we're going to be storing all our stuff in there. I don't know if we're going to be storing our tractor and that sort of thing in there, but we've got the other shed going up as well. So yeah,
we've got a little American barn style shed that we'll be putting up behind that, and that's going to become the bee shed.
We'll call that a barn. So yeah, as Fox had said, I think someone said a barn is to be able to house all things outside it. Yep. Yeah. So
at the moment we're doing our honey extraction and wax melting in the garage, and of course as soon as you start melting wax, the smell goes around and you end up with a garage full of bees.
Yeah, so Richard, the American style barn is like, I'm just trying to get it straight here. What is something that we refer to in Australia, it basically goes up and across and then it has the pitch in the middle. So it's got the main structure and then 2 lean-tos set down slightly. So that's what we call an American style barn. So
so that's the smaller one, but the bigger one is just basically a straight up and over. Yeah.
And there's going to be a future project attached to that. And we'll talk about that at a later stage, just to make it a little bit easier. And also what we're doing is we're putting another tank attached to that. It's 140,000 litres, and I'm going to get...
I can't do that conversion.
No.
I can do gallons to litres a bit quicker, but not the other way.
Yeah. Was that 140? That's, yep. Let's go US liquid gallons. So 137. No, that's, I don't have enough. Yeah, that's, good. So 140,000 litres or 37,000 gallon tank.
Oh, Richard's in Central Victoria too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Go on, say where it is, Richard. So 37,000 litre tank on that as well. So gallon, 37,000 gallon. Big tank. So that's going to go up on that shed as well. Also going up on that shed is our effort to get a little bit more off-grid. We're putting in solar. Yeah, so solar panels all on that shed to feed the shed and our house. We're not putting batteries in it at the moment, so we will be still attached to the grid for that sort of thing for
Oh, that's
power
right.
nights. So yeah. So hey, Brad. Yeah, we're trying to get that way, Paula. So the batteries at the moment it's just a little bit too expensive to have the batteries, and we just can't afford that. So we want to start with the solar panels, and then eventually, and that's why we're putting it on the shed. Is because that will allow us to put the batteries and everything up there. So
the other issue we've got is this thing right here behind you, and the commercial oven, which is 3-phase. So that you can't run a 3-phase off solar.
Well, you can, but it's a little bit more expensive. So yeah, but we'll see how it all goes. So that's that project. So that's a major project. We're not putting up the shed. No,
Too big.
It's too big for us, and because of the size and the expense, you had to get a permit for that as well. And with having to get everything ready for the tank and having the self-build on the that we're doing as well, and trying to get everything done, and working full-time jobs and being full-time parents, and we knew that we couldn't quite do that quick enough. So because we would like to get that up before we start to do the rest of the self-build.
You got to acknowledge your limitations too, and it's not being a failure. It's like the other day, Merv and I were out the back, and we had a couple of diseased trees that needed to come down, and one was an old grey box that was leaning over, and we were able to control that one and drop it in the right spot pretty much. And then we headed up towards the other one, which is a really tall yellow gum, and it's got branches going in all sorts of directions. And we both stood there for about 5 minutes looking at it, and we looked at each other and went, "Nah, can't do it safely." So that's when I'm going to get a professional tree lopper in.
Yeah. So did the permit for the shed take long? We actually did that at the same time as the house. So I can't tell you that it took longer. Well, actually, I threw that in at the very end, so we hadn't quite got the permit for the house. So we got all the stuff done for the shed at the same time. So yeah, I was just going to say hello to Annie, Annie's Kitchen. Annette. Now, from memory, she's in Perth, isn't she?
That's correct, yes.
It's a bit early over there, so yeah. Joe is hoping to do, yeah, that's what we're looking at, either the 6.6 or slightly bigger. So yeah, so that's what we're looking at. So that's another project that we're looking at. Just an update on our bore as well. We got our bore done, and we let it. You have to actually let it flow for about 3 days to clean and get everything going, and then get a sample and take that off to get tested to see if we need the decel. And I've mentioned that before. We actually let it run for 3 days, and it filled up our, I'm going to say this, and it's an Australian thing, our dam pond, because it's got a dam wall to keep it in. Yeah, so it filled up our pond.
Yeah, there's ducks on it.
And there's ducks. The ducks have been visiting, and we've been seeing our yabbies, or crawdads. Do they call them crawdads?
Crawdads, yeah.
Yeah. And I haven't seen our fish yet, so I'm not sure if we've still got fish. But there's been a lot of ducks on there, which might have eaten all our fish. But yeah, so we're sending that sample off. You can actually drink the water.
Yeah, it's got a bit of a funny taste. Paul's just asked, is it a well? So yeah, we call them a bore. So yeah, basically it drills down. You have to go down 72 meters. And they're basically tapping into the artesian water underneath. So there's flows of water that go through the rocks.
Aquifer.
Yeah, the aquifer.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a well.
And then
we had to bore down. So using the big massive thing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now it's got an electric pump on it, and yeah, just turn her on and out she pumps.
Yeah.
But, yes, bore. That's
bore,
right.
B-O-R-E.
That's
yes.
correct.
Not,
as in drill.
He's a bore. Yeah. That's a long way down. Actually, it's not as long as a lot of people around here, Richard. We sit on really like a lot of quartz. We're in the what they call the gold fields, obviously, and in Bendigo. So there's a lot of quartz and there's a lot of, you know, mudstone and everything. So some of our neighbours have had to go deeper. But yeah, he did hit water at 64 metres, but went down to get a better flow. So yeah.
And a lot of the water in this area goes through what we call shale, so it picks up a lot of mineralised salt. We were lucky we hit a quartz reef, so the water's actually running through quartz, so it has that sort of rocky taste, but we think it's not as salty.
Out of 15 metres. Well, that's Hepburn Springs. You're basically sitting on water.
You're a little closer to sea level down in Gippsland. We're up a little higher. So.
Oh, hang on. Was that Richard? Richard said, oh, yeah.
Oh, Richard, no. So he's Hepburn. So, yeah, look, it just depends. Yeah.
Hepburn Springs?
Hepburn Springs, yeah.
I said he's sitting on water over there. So, yeah.
So, Richard, people down the road have had to go down 40 or 50 metres, and people further up this way going up the hill have had to go down to 80, 90, 100 metres.
I'm just looking what Joe's to 260. Don't mind me. Keep entertaining yourself.
So, yeah, but it was a very interesting process, and to see the water all coming out was pretty amazing. So we've got a sample bottle that we've got to send off to be tested, and then we'll get a readout on the mineral profile of it, and then we can make a decision as to whether we have to put in a decel plant. Fingers crossed, hopefully not. We only want it for irrigation and stock watering, so so long as it's okay to put on the plants and okay for the cows to drink, it'll make it a heck of a lot easier.
Yeah, yep. So so that's the update on that one. Yeah. And I won't even say what our electricity bill at the moment is. It's just quite insane. But yeah. So what else did we do yesterday? Yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday I was absolutely exhausted last night. It was a big day. So you might remember that we incubated about 30 chickens a while ago after we lost almost all of our flock to a fox attack. And so we ended up with a lot of
roosters.
A lot of roosters.
15.
15 of the
15 hens and 15 roosters, which when you do the maths, I mean, if they were monogamous, that'd be fine. So
to give the hens a little bit of a relief and to stop Julianne getting attacked by rogue roosters that had a bit of a crack at her, it was time to thin the flock a little bit. So.
And I was not unhappy to see one of them go. We've got Plymouth Rock, which is your barred rock, and Buff Sussex. And the Buff Sussex are a huge bird, like really, really big. Yeah, and I had a couple tried to attack me. So, yeah.
So, yeah, we set up our dispatching cone and feather scolder and butchering table, and yeah, we processed 10 roosters. So the first one was nice and easy. I just walked up to the fence and they all came up, so I thought I was going to feed them, and I grabbed one, and then they all worked out, I'm not going to go near him now. So the next 9 we had to chase around a little bit, so actually chasing them was the hardest work. And but yeah, we ended up catching 10 of them and putting them through. And that was my first go at doing a full process and butcher. We didn't do a video on this one, Paula, because it was our first go, and it took, by the time I got to the 10th rooster, I was pretty efficient at doing the butchering and getting it ready and that. But yeah, I wanted a bit of a practice. But our future plan is to build a Justin Road style.
No, actually, I like the John Skoskovich. Yeah, so we're doing Joel Salatin. Yeah. So
mobile tractor.
Yeah, so a mobile chicken tractor. So we'll be doing those, and then we'll actually get some, the Cornish cross or something similar, depending on what we can get here. And we'll do a video on when we do that. Obviously, there's so many videos out there, and yeah, but I just didn't. Look,
and the other thing too, my opinion, you got to be careful with those sort of videos as well, because it's not everyone's cup of tea, and we understand that. But yeah,
even my mum. Now, I must say, my mum worked at an abattoir. and she was a little bit squeamish yesterday. And I think it's because she knew the animals that we were harvesting, so it was a personal thing. But yeah, she got a little bit weird. So.
Yeah, and look, I've been feeding these roosters, and when they were little, I had to catch them and put them in the tractor, and I've been interacting with them, and they're beautiful birds. But at the end of the day, they were only costing us money to a point. They're stressing out the hens. They had to go. And my philosophy is you've got to put that sort of connection aside and understand that they've had a great life. They've really enjoyed it, and I was quick and humane and ethical, and they were dispatched quickly, and they felt no pain.
She to actually film yesterday, so that's another thing. Yeah. But look, these were 6-month-old chickens. So
roosters too.
Yeah, roosters. So I mean, they're not going to be. We pieced them all out. We didn't keep any for roasting because, as my dad said, if you wanted to know when the chicken was done, put a brick in and cook the chicken, and when the chicken was done, you could throw the chicken out and eat the brick. So yeah, hopefully the Cornish cross, and these, as I said, these ones we kept all the meat. We got about 15 kilos. We're going to make stock out of all the carcasses and everything. But yeah, we got all the meat that we could, and we're going to try some out tonight in a stir fry and see what it's like. But a lot of this meat we're actually going to use for slow cooking, and things that you cook the meat for quite some time to tenderize, and we'll do brining and marinating. So
yeah, Paul and Richard, it is. It's exactly that. And and the good thing about and I wasn't sure if I could do this, even with the meat chickens coming. But now that I've been through that process and seen it, we know exactly what's gone into these chickens. We know how old they are. We know they've had a good life, and it's about if you want to provide good, wholesome, organic food, then that's part of the process. I do have 2 words though that I do need: chicken plucker, because I had to pluck them with this chicken plucker yesterday, which wasn't too bad, but I don't want to have to pluck 50 chickens by hand, so we are going to have to get one.
Stephen's dad used to do that as well, the chicken and the stump and the hatchet, but he used to let go of the chickens and
My grandmother used to tell my dad, "Now don't you let go of this chicken," and then she'd hit it with the axe, and Dad let go of it so he could watch it run around the yard. He's a bit of a bugger, my dad.
Yeah, I agree, Richard. I think there's a lot of disconnect between food and where it comes from and everything. Yeah. I saw a comment one day on, I think I've mentioned this before. There was this young girl on, I think it had been Facebook or something, or Reddit or something. I don't know where it was. And she said, "Why do we still have farms and everything when you just go to a supermarket and buy your meat?"
Yep, and this is the level of disconnect and misunderstanding of where our food comes from. Yeah. Blue collar, absolutely.
I mean, we had 2 more roosters we wanted to do, but I mean they flew away.
Catch them. Yeah,
and they now identify as cows. Just about the back with our cows. They've run away. They're not coming back. So we would have done it more. It took us a long time to do those 10. So I said we.
And look, it took a long time too, because as we were piecing them out, and they're 6-month-old roosters, so they're pretty sinewy and tough. Like their ligaments in their joints were just like a leather.
When you did the first couple, it took forever, and in the end, he was just whacking them out as just getting them done. So they did actually. They flew away. Oh, it was a hilarious ball. I was sitting here watching him try and catch this rooster, and there's a fence that's like 4 foot tall all the way around.
I was trying to stick with a bit of wire on the end of getting him by the leg.
And this rooster, I swear to God, he flew over. It's 4 foot, isn't it? Yeah, the 4 foot high fence to get away from Stephen. And it was funny because there was a few that I'd handpicked to actually get rid of, and that wasn't one of them. So I looked and I said, "That's the one I was keeping," because we kept 1 rooster of each breed. So he saved his bacon by flying over into the orchard, and the orchard's huge, so Stephen was never going to catch him. So he saved himself by doing that. One of the buff roosters saved himself by going into the chicken coop and just staying there, hiding, and didn't come out for the whole day. It flew. It was amazing.
I don't know how he did it, but he was on the other side of the fence in the orchard looking at me going like that. It's like,
yeah. So he
got away, Steve.
He saved himself and just strutted around the orchard for the rest of the day, even at his mates on the other side of the fence. Gradually disappearing.
Right in here.
Yeah.
But there were 2 more that we wanted to get, and by the time I'd done 10, they'd worked out. I reckon they'd worked out well, and they were not having a bar of me. I couldn't catch them. So we're just going to leave it a little while and see how they go.
He pieced out all the stuff, and in the end he gave up doing too much because it was just the skin. The skin was really
tough.
heavy. I mean, these birds, they would probably be about 5 or 6 kilos live weight. So, they're big. They're quite big. So, yeah. My dad said we need to get rabbits because he said he could process a rabbit in a couple of minutes. So we have them running around everywhere.
I'll attest to that. Yeah, rabbits done much quicker.
I had a friend that didn't know that peas grew in pods. She thought, I'm just not going to read the rest of that because that's terrible. She thought they came in the bags that you put in the freezer. Yeah.
And that really is our supermarket culture now.
I'm sorry, that's funny. I've got to tell you the story about one of our chickens. We've got this chicken, we call her Maud, and she got out and she never went back into the coop because every time she went back in the coop, the roosters would absolutely annihilate her. And had a knock on the door. And our neighbour, we're on 20 acres and our neighbours are fairly, far away from us. Our neighbour knocked on the door and she said, do you have chickens? And I said, yes. And she goes, she says, I think one of your chickens is out. And I'm like, oh, yeah, we've got a couple that just wander around. She says, no. I come up over the hill and here's a chicken standing in the middle of the road. I'm like, she was a good 200 metres up the road. So she just decided to go for a bit of a wander, and I didn't get to find out why the chicken crossed the road, but she was standing in the middle of the road and nearly got run over. So,
the funny thing is, last night with those roosters gone, she went into the tractor.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, she wasn't running around this morning on her own.
Yeah, so that's the first time she's gone in the coop for probably a good 2 months. But yeah, she used to live in our tomato patch, but now that's gone. But yeah, so she nearly got run over, and the lady said, oh, I tried to get her and bring her back for you, but she wouldn't let me. And I'm like, she'll come back. So, yeah.
But while I was, we were bagging up and vacuum sealing the meat last night, and I collected a few of the chicken tenders underneath the breast. So I've cut that up into small pieces. So I'm going to try a stir fry with that just to see how that goes. Should be a little bit tender.
Yeah.
Thanks, Richard. Thanks for being here.
So that's chicken. We've got a little list down here, as you can see. So house build. Recovery, yep, we've done that. Chickens, yep, we've done that. Shed, we've done that. Yep, tank, we've done that. Honey, we've done that. Oh, we've discovered that our French bulldog. Oh,
we call her Honey Joy now. She loves honey.
Oh my God, she just sits there and sorry, Maud just walked past the front door. And I think Shadow heard us. Hey, Shadow, heard us mention us too. So she she loves honey to the point where after we processed the honey and put the frames back in the box, she was up on the box licking.
Trying to lick the frame.
So, she's good. So,
people would have also seen the other videos. The other exciting news since our last live is we've got our kitchen registered. So we're now licensed to produce our preserves and jams and things and honey and sell them. We also had a trip down to the Melbourne market, the wholesalers market. So we've got a video on our channel about that.
That was huge, 62 hectares. That thing, I was exhausted. So, yeah.
And that was an amazing place to see. You talk about, food production and how it all comes into a central place for then distribution. Just to see it all in there was amazing.
We were actually asked by a couple of producers if we would sell our products to them direct as well, because there's not a lot of wholesale organic wholesalers out there. So I think we only found one organic wholesaler down there. So they were interested in buying some of our produce as well. And obviously we're not up there yet, but yeah, I mean, although we did produce 180 kilos of tomatoes.
Yeah.
So even with our blossom end rot, 180 kilos. Ooh, so I think it was what, 330 pounds or something. So
yes, Paul, I suppose that does mean you promised Honey can come over. I'll have to, we'll investigate it.
yes.
Thanks, Blue Collar, for being here. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so there is a market, a very, very, very local market, which is only 5 minutes away from us next weekend. But unfortunately, with everything,
Just not going to make it.
yeah, we're not going to make that market. But
We'll go to the next one.
yeah, so that's a very local market, which is good because we want to sell our local produce into the local market as well. So yeah, so we've now got all our labels and all our legal requirements to sell our produce. So as I said, this is pretty much full of produce, and
there's cupboards out the back here that's just loaded up with boxes of relish and pickles and jams, and
then we've got the new build, we've got a storage room that's just dedicated to all our preserving and everything as well. So that's probably one of the rooms I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah, Joe, there's lots of different markets around, farmers markets, community markets. There's quite a lot.
You have to actually be certified to sell at farmers markets, and there's an accreditation that you need to go through. So we're just waiting for our accreditation. So to meet the accreditation to go into local farmers markets, you have to produce a certain amount of your produce locally. We're pretty right with that because we produce most of our stuff here, and if we don't, we get it locally as well. So so we're looking forward to it. So
look, Paula, we're looking forward to seeing how it all goes too. Like, I mean, this isn't going to be full-time income for us. It's just a sort of a supplement, but then once we both retire in the coming years, we might be able to do. It's going to be a while. But look, it's something we can do. And like, the other thing too, our YouTube channel was always about making a record of what we're doing. We're really pleased to have seen that our YouTube family has managed to get us monetized, and got a little trickle of a few coins coming in.
That $2.50 a month is,
But look, it's just about having those little incomes. No.
But to actually do a little bit more on our tutorials on preserving it and everything, and hopefully well, that would be great, Paul. Joe, come down, come visit. So
most welcome.
But so we're looking forward to getting our stuff out there, and there's a few local artisan stores that we could possibly get our stuff into, and we've got a major supermarket that's interested in selling our stuff as well. So we just have to get our production up and running and get it done. But as Stephen said, this is not a full-time thing, although it would be great if if one of us could maybe retire, because he's older than me, and do this, because I know Stephen, really wants to do this, but I mean, he's loving his job at the moment, so that's not going to happen. So that would be nice.
It's all about balancing your life balances as well, and how much time you've got to put into each of your different endeavours. So to do a preserving company, it's a big investment in manpower and hours, but it'll happen one day.
Yeah, and I think the thing about us is we're doing it all. It's all handmade here. So
if you're coming through Central Victoria, Joe, you're more than welcome to call on in.
Annie's Kitchen wants to learn how to make jams and chutneys. Okay, so as I said, we'll be doing a lot more videos on that as well. Our channel's going to be really eclectic over the next 12 months because we've got the self-build, and then we've got the gardens and the orchard and the homestead and everything like that. So we're going to try and fit everything in. So yeah, jams are easy, and it's just making sure that you don't go over setting point and you end up with burnt jam. So I was a bit scared of jams, but my whole thing is wear protection.
Yeah.
105 degrees Celsius is setting point. That's not to burn your face off. So yeah.
Well, the other one too, and Ed, if you're interested in making tomato relish, our best performing video is the one I did about making tomato relish. It's just a video that keeps on giving.
It's done about 11,000 views or something like that.
And
so
that's a really simple, really nice recipe. The only thing that I like to do now, if I've got the time, is to actually de-skin the tomatoes, and so you don't end up with the skin in it. But if you just want it quick and simple, it's a really cool recipe, and it's just beautiful relish it turns out. So it's a good one to start with.
Yeah. So that's it. And there's something else that I can see in the background here that we haven't mentioned or appeared on film for a while. Our cows. Our cows are going well. So things have turned green here all of a sudden. We got a little bit of rain and everything's now green. So our cows are doing well. We're still having to feed them.
Well, just greened up a bit. They're not going through the bales quite as quick. So
yeah. So we've got a few. We've got a few bulls.
See you, Brad. Thanks for being here, mate.
5-minute warning. Thanks. I said we're going to be here for half an hour later. So we've got a few bulls that we're actually going to sell privately. And we've got a few that are young steers as well. I think all our girls are pregnant as well. So so they're doing really, really well. We'll probably do an update on them in a future video. So there's a lot of stuff happening at the moment. But I've just got to behave myself apparently.
3 or 4 weeks.
For a couple more weeks. And then I've got my autumn garden is going to be a complete and utter failure this year because I just don't have as much in. I mean, I should have got my garlic planted 4 weeks ago. Throw that in and see how it goes, but I'm not going to. We'll just see. Going to the winter season soon. Yes, but not expert sort of. It's weird. We didn't get a really scorching summer this time.
It's been
strange.
Season.
So
in fact, later, my work as a snake relocator, they were just out at the wrong times, different times. They bred later. It's just been a weird summer.
Yeah, Paula, I'm not so sure that our beef cows would like us to milk them. We don't handle them a lot, so look, I mean, we could give it a go, put them in the crush, try and milk them.
I'm all in for organic farming and being self-sufficient, but as far as milk goes, no.
Yeah, see, I'm not a morning person either. So
I'm happy to let someone else do that for me.
Yeah, 5 acre farm. That's what I'm hoping, because the season has been really, really weird. So all the garlic that I picked a couple of months ago, I saved all that and I'm just going to redo that one. So because I mean it's autumn. It's not August, and it's really warm. So I know there's a duck out there. I know it's cold.
But we've still got habanero chilies forming on the plants.
Yeah, and bell peppers. So capsicum. So but weird. So I'll get them in and see how I'll get my child to plant them. Make use of the 13-year-old. So that's about it from us. So I don't think there's anything else going on. I'm tired just thinking of it all. So
it's been a long time since last week. So update. We'll have to try and get in a bit more regularly and do a Q&A and people can shoot questions at us.
So that's it. We're not. I think I use the word we. I keep on saying we. The royal we, Stephen. Go the child labour. So I'm going to get Stephen and Harrison out into the veggie patch just to give it a bit of a tidy up and a clean, and then maybe get Stephen in to plant some garlic for me, and get Harrison out in the sun shining, plant some garlic and see how we go.
Yeah, we've got another holiday on Tuesday, so hopefully it's a nice sunny day. And
yeah,
spend some time out there.
Yeah.
Tuesday is Anzac Day in Australia, so it's like Veterans Day. It's a commemorative day for our servicemen and women. Very important day. I actually did a video last year when I went to the Dawn Service March. I don't think I'll be going there this year, but I try to go 1 year on, 1 year off, and just enjoy the day. So
So I think it's like Veterans Day, so Anzac Day, so that's Australia, New Zealand Day. So
Yep, 5 acre. I'm trying to make sure she rests, but And hey, if you're ever across this way, wherever where we are, shoot us a message and pop on in. Yeah, we'd love to catch up with some of our Victorian family members.
All right, our awesome mod Paula has given us the wind up. I've got a video to catch up on, and I think Paula knows who that channel is. So they release their videos in the middle of the night for us. So wake up in the morning, sit there with my cup of coffee, and watch those. So
funny one the other night. I forgot about Al. I haven't watched Al.
I forgot London Acres. It's like, oh geez, I better watch that. So but anyway,
fangirl here.
Yeah. So So all right, that's about it.
Yes, absolutely. Welcome anytime.
Yeah, anyone's welcome.
Kettle's always on, and we'll fire the barbie up.
A few scones in the oven. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us, even though Stephen screwed up the days. Whenever we book another live, I'll be making sure that I do it.
She'll double check it.
So he gets the date and time. I'm surprised that we're not on at 2 a.m. in the morning at some time. So
I had it on Sunday, just next Sunday.
Yeah, oops. All right, so.
All right, thanks very much, everyone. Appreciate the support as always. And bye from Sweenies Creek Farm, and we'll see you on the next one.